Are you using ChatGPT to write code for you? I do, a lot. But there's all of this back and forth. You need to copy and paste back and forth. You need to understand where to paste, what works, what doesn't, blah, blah, blah. It's a hassle. But what if I tell you that you can make ChatGPT search through local files on your machine, read them, edit them, install things, run things, and also test and debug the code it writes, all on its own in one big closed loop? Well, if this sounds exciting, you are in the luck, because this is what I'm going to show you today, and also show you how to set it up on your machine. Let's jump in. So yeah, I'm playing a little bit with Runway to add some jokes to the video. Not superb this time, but learning. Anyways, in last video, I spoke about WebSim limitations. Currently, WebSim is the best tool I know of for quickly getting interactive web app prototype. But as it gets bigger and bigger, it becomes increasingly impossible to continue in WebSim. So I shared a bunch of tools that help you to overcome this and continue working on your WebSim beyond the WebSim limitations. I've discussed and compared them, tools like GitHub Copilot, Aider, and some others. And I compared them in terms of how can or cannot help you with things like chat about your code, brainstorm possible solutions, search for solutions online, or search for documentation online, debug and run and install things around your application, how well they work with larger and larger sizes of the application, and also I discussed costs. So if you're interested in this, go and check my previous video. Now, I also in that video shared that myself, I'm using my own tool called ChatGPT Server Commander, which is a tool that allows you to do these things with ChatGPT. And it's free, it's open source, and it's on GitHub. And it's also free in terms that free users of ChatGPT can use it to give ChatGPT these capabilities. And I also showed an example. I've took one of my applications on WebSim and I downloaded and I showed you how you can discuss, analyze, learn about the application with ChatGPT, how you can brainstorm about it, and how you can search online about some of documentation of what it uses. So again, check there. For today, plan is to show you more on the side of actually running, testing, debugging, brainstorming, and editing applications. That's something I didn't show last time. So this is the first part of this video. And in second part, I will show you how to set it up so you can use it on your machine for free. So let's begin. So here we have a WebSim application that I'm demoing this flow and tool on top of. This is a WebSim. It's a text adventure. It generates for you some random setups for a story, and you can select one of them. Let's take a look. Alternate history run by AI. Actually, kind of interesting. Let's see. You click it, and it sends it to AI, and AI will respond. Let's see how it responds.
That diverged from our own at a critical moment in history, where artificial intelligence governs the lives of humans. The streets are bustling with people and autonomous vehicles navigating seamlessly through the lanes. You can sense both the advantages and drawbacks of living in such a society. What would you like to do?
So yeah, that's approximately what it does. It generates a bunch of possible stories. You send it to AI. AI sends you back a text, a story. It also sends you a prompt for image generation. Image is generated. And it also reads the story using voices available on your system. Like currently it was Google Chrome UK English male voice. So it does text to speech conversion and tells you a story. It then also generates for you a follow-up actions that we can investigate the AI headquarters, join a rebellion against AI control, explore the city, seek out a history for answers. By now it's something like 1,300 lines of code, and it's too big to continue to work on in WebSim. And today I want to focus exactly on that part. I want to make changes to it using ChatGPT and the tool that I'm showing you. What I want to focus on today for a small change to demo this is this part. that generates initial stories. Like if we read them, they are too abstract, not enough hook, not interesting. For example, magic realism run by AI, sky pirates with sentient shadows. What? Like, do I want to click it? Don't I want to click it? This is too shallow. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna download it, then try to use Server Commander that I already have here. This is private version. You will be able to do your own private version. But what we're gonna do is that we're gonna download this, and then we can extract this, test this, brainstorm how to improve, try to improve, test, iterate with ChatGPT. And when we are happy, we're gonna ask it to integrate it back, and we're gonna upload it back into the WebSim when we are ready. Let's do that. Let's start. Let's download. Okay, now it's downloaded. Let's go to Server Commander. And I will be using today a tool for, well, writing with voice. I think it will work better in the video. So here I have a plugin in Chrome, and let's begin. Find me in user folder, or rather list folders in user folder, and find there download folder and work folder. I want you to create a new folder in work folder called demo. And I want you to find the latest downloaded HTML file in download folder, move it to created demo folder, and rename it to demo HTML as it has a weird name. Let's give it a try. So let's see what it does. So it finds something in user folder folders. It creates a demo folder. It finds HTML files in download folder. It does again find, and it moves, but also what? Oh, okay, so what it did. All the demo has been created in the work directory, and the latest HTML file from downloads folder with such a weird name, let's check it is the same name, has been moved to the demo folder and renamed to damaged mail HTML. So the voice to text didn't understand the name. Let's continue. I wanted you to rename it to demo HTML, not damage the mail HTML. Can you rename again? Okay. Can you run command to open the folder in Finder? Here it opened the folder. And we have a demo. Let's open to see if it's the same file we want. Okay, so here we downloaded, you can see that it's like work demo HTML, and it's the same thing that we had in WebSim. We have it now locally. I haven't done anything, I just spoke. I downloaded file and spoke about it. So here we have it. It's locally. Not all of it will work because it will not be able to call the APIs, but this part works because it works locally. Let's ask it how it works. Now read the demo HTML file. What is it? What does it do? I'm especially interested in the part that generates story suggestions. Can you tell me how that works? And here I'm demonstrating to you how you can speak with it. Okay, we got an error. I think I usually know what the problem is. What path did you use and what is current folder? Maybe you need to switch to demo folder first and then use local paths. So I do have some issues to fix. It's like hobby project for now on the side, where it can get confused a little bit about paths. Usually I try to switch to the folder and ask it to use relative paths to the folder. Let's see. So current folder was in the project itself. It was different folder, so it switched to the folder, it checked that it is there, it read the file, and now we can say what it says. So HTML file is part of a web-based text adventure game called WebSim Adventure. The game allows users to select different settings and scenarios such as medieval fantasy kingdom or cyberpunk metropolis and generate random adventures based on these choices. Story suggestion mechanism. The part generating story suggestions is handled by JavaScript function generate adventures. It randomly selects 10 genres from a predefined list of games like cyberpunk, space opera, and post-apocalyptic. For each selected genre, it pairs it with a random modifier from another list, including elements like with dragons as allies or in a pocket dimension. The function then creates a button for each story combination. When clicked, these buttons trigger further actions in the game. So, very good explanation of how it actually works. Superb. Okay, so what do I want now? I dislike a couple of things about how it works. So I want you to extract related JavaScript to a separate JavaScript file that we will be running with Node and getting the resulted generated list. Create a new file and move the code there. Then run it to see if it works. Let's see what it does. So it's making an action. This time it's a big one. And it's a bit unfortunate that OpenAI is not showing any kind of like what is happening there, any kind of per load or what, because what is happening currently, it's writing a new JavaScript file based on the original one. And it's not super fast sometimes when it's big. Let's see what's gonna happen. We can see here what it's doing. It's creating a new file called storygenerator.js and it's adding code into it and it asks to confirm. So for edit operations, I could make it not to confirm, but for now I'm preferring to sometimes confirm. But if you confirm, it can do multiple operations in sequence without follow-up confirmations. That's how ChatGPT works, and I do not have good control over that UX. So it created a file, it ran it with Node, and the JavaScript code has been successfully extracted into a new file, and it generates the following list of adventure scenarios when run. Let's see. Viking Age where magic and technology coexist. Time travel where everyone has spirit animal companion. Yeah, so I was interested to take a look in the folder. We're looking at the folder again. We can see we had demo HTML and now we have a separate generator.js file. It extracted the code into a separate file. It ran it, got the generated results back into the chat, and it can now discuss with you results of running code. Pure magic. Or, I don't know, 2 years ago, not possible. This is exactly the part that I'm a little bit missing in all the existing tools. They cannot really test the code. Like we have what? We have GitHub Copilot. We have Aider. We have what? We have Cursor. We have some others. They don't exactly do this. And I think this is the missing piece. Like WebSim doesn't do this. This is a pretty big missing piece for me. There are other missing pieces. That's the like next low-hanging fruit for those tools to be able to help you even if you're not a developer. Anyways, let's go back to trying to modify. So it extracted the code, it ran it, it got the result of running it, and now we can discuss the results of running it. This is also not something really WebSim can do, for example. Now I want you to ruminate about this result from the standpoint of best UX practices of game developers. Are these good text adventure call to actions? Would people be interested or they are missing something? Criticize, think how to improve. So let's brainstorm with it. Okay, so strengths of the generated scenario, variety and creativity, appeal to different audiences, Vikings and cyberpunk. Okay, reliability. Okay, areas of improvement, lack of context and immersion. I agree 100%. Critique. While the combination are imaginative, they lack immediate context. Phrases like where magic and technology coexist are intriguing, but don't paint a complete picture for the player. Super agree. That's exactly what I want to fix. Improvement. Instead of presenting this as a raw combination, the generator could create a short narrative teaser. For example, in Viking Age, where magic intervenes with machinery and ancient prophecies, Foretell your rise as a hero. What will you do next? Okay. Limited player direction. The current output doesn't provide clear, actionable steps. Player might appreciate having specific choices or goals beyond just genre and setting. What's the conflict? What's the player's role? Yes! Sounds good. Was thinking about that myself. Critique. The current phrase is neutral and lacks emotional appeal. Players engage more when the stakes are clear and the tone matches the setting. Improvements. The generator could adapt the tone based on the genre. For instance, in cosmic horror haunted by friendly ghost, use language that evokes dread or tension. In a deep void of space, malevolent spirits cling to your every move. Can you escape before your sanity crumbles? Accessibility and comprehensions, recommendations, add a story context generator. Create a more guided narratives, provide clear goals or dilemmas, tone adaptation. Also interesting, more personalization, allow the player to input preferences. A player already can, kinda. Okay. Okay. Let's focus on your critics from 1, 2, and 3. How can we still do generation from random lists but make it make more sense? Can maybe we create some kind of template and maybe something like 5 lists of random things that can be combined? Ruminate how to do it. I mostly know what I want to do. Current templates just combine the setting and some kind of modifier, which is kind of abstract and boring. What if there was some kind of a setup? Who you are, where you are, and like things like this. Let's see what it proposes. Define a narrative structure template. Protagonist, who? Setting, where? Conflict goal, yeah, good. What the challenge or conflict is the protagonist facing? What is the objective? Antagonist, who or what is opposing the protagonist? Twist modifier, what unique or surprising twist modifies the adventure? This could be add complexity or an unexpected element. Create multiple random lists, protagonist, settings, blah, 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 combined and randomized templates. Okay, so we have template. You are in where you must, however, antagonist stands in your way and adds a layer of danger. Okay. I slightly dislike the template. Suggest things. Let's focus on this part. So I'm commenting on the part of the generated answer of LLM, and let's say, can you propose maybe 5 or 6 variants of how the template could look like? I'm a little bit worried that this last part, that twist adds a layer of danger, is too specific and will limit type of modifiers and twists one can have. Let's see. Okay, so we have a couple of more templates. You are protagonist journeying through task with. Along the way, you must contend with antagonists, but twist complicates your path. Yeah, that's more, that's give more freedom to these generations. In setting, you are, and time is running out, and again, to complete, you must, but stand in your way as the clock ticks down. Twist that threatens to change everything. So the running out time is to complete again. As protagonist in setting, you uncover a dark secret while trying to do something. However, antagonist is intent on stopping you, and twist reveals again feels too concrete. Now the first one was you are journeying tasked with, and the way you must contend with what complicates your path. In the heart of you are embroiled with web intrigue, your mission. So I have actually an idea. Considering they all use protagonist, setting, goal, antagonist, and twist, we can have a separate list of templates, right? So we will be selecting both random parameters, but also random template of how to combine the parameters. I think it will make it even more variety and will allow, let's see, let's see what it does. I have a better idea. Let's actually have a random list of possible templates. So we have lists of possible parameters to the templates, but also random template to choose. propose how to change the code to do that, make the changes, and run so that we see the result. I want you to generate something like 20 answers using such setting. So let's see if it can modify. I'm not sure it's going to work from the first try. Let's see what it does. Okay, great idea. Let's do that. Step-by-step changes. So one thing I a little bit dislike, I think it's a style. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't. That it writes the code once, showing you what it wants to do, and then it will write the code second time when it's actually modifying. I a little bit dislike that part, in a sense that it makes you wait. Maybe you're fine to read it, but now, yeah, so now it makes the changes. So it proposed the modifications, explained the changes. It actually says that it's going to run the code, but at first we're going to be making modifications. Let's see if it works. What's good in this setup that when it doesn't work, it still runs it, sees that something didn't work, and it will try to fix it and iterate. You don't need to provide it much more context. So it actually failed with update. There was a syntax error in code it generated. This is a feature of the tool, only for JavaScript for now. I will be thinking of adding support for more languages eventually. Or maybe you want to add it yourself. For now, it's JavaScript. I will also be adding validation for HTML and CSS. I'm focusing on web first, on web applications first. So it tries again. Now, this is something that I don't think any other tool does. WebSim doesn't do this. It failed again. So sometimes modification is complex. In this case, we are asking it so much that it needs to rewrite the whole file. What we can also do is we can ask it to show me a link to the file. I want to see how it looks now. So let's give it a try last time. Oh. So this is also a feature. Oops. So I also have a feature where you can view the files even, I mean, this thing is usable on the phone. So I connect it to my computer. I can do this chat from my phone and I can view the files. Yeah, this is a feature of getting access to the file locally. It needs your password and it's your IP. Use some online service to find my public IP. Yeah, we can run commands of any kind. So what it does, it curls to ipconfig, gives me my IP, current one. And we can paste it here. And we can see that file is unchanged. So when error during change happens, I revert. So it fails to modify the file in a way it tries. One other UX issue I have with how ChatGPT works is that when error happens, I do not see what kind of parameters were set. I can see it here though, in a sense that it tries. So this is it running locally. You can see communication that ChatGPT sends to your local running tool. But we're probably not going to figure it out in quickly, and I don't want to truly bore you. So in this case, what we can do, if modification is like this, it's big, we can just ask it to make a new file. Let's ask to do that. Seems like editing file is too complex at the moment. Let's try to create a new file where you will put all the code that you imagined. And then you run it. For bigger changes, it can sometimes fail. I am still working on polishing the kinks, so that doesn't happen. So now it writes a whole file. It takes a little bit of time. We can see that it wrote a big file. That That was a success. We can see in folder we now have random story generator. It run. There is some of the generated adventures from the script. As a rogue AI in underwater civilization, you must escape a collapsing dimension. But beware, a malfunctioning AI controlling the city is on your tail. And everyone is connected telepathically, complicates things further. That's actually not a bad story, right? You are an interstellar trader in Enchanted Island, where you must stop an ancient curse. However, an evil sorcerer who controls time stands in your way, and everyone is connected telepathically. Okay, we have telepathically connected twice by now. In a post-apocalyptic city, you are a rogue AI trying to find a lost. So rogue AI second. So let's ask a question. How many options are there for each list of random parameters and templates? While it works, in post-apocalyptic your rogue UI, trying to find lost artifact to save the world while a dangerous sea creature pursues you. Super random, but funny. As if things weren't difficult enough, people emotions physically manifest. Okay, and I'm AI. It's gonna be weird. I want to see that story. Like, it, one interesting thing with AI is you can torture them. If you would ask any self-respecting human out of this, he would say go away. This is weird. But you can ask AI, and it will try to succeed. Okay. So, as time-traveling historian, in an enchanted island, you must unite varying factions. Whoa, I want the story. But beware, an oppressive government, what, is on your tail, and the weather is controlled by an ancient entity, complicates things further. Okay. You are a cursed wizard in a post-apocalyptic city where you must unite varying factions, okay? However, an evil sorcerer who controls time stands in your way, and people emotions physically manifest. Okay, so it has 5 options, like six. So there are 38,000 possible combinations and 5 templates. Okay, so I think templates are fine. I want there to be more options for parameters. I don't want them to be mentioned, so ruminate on options for protagonists, and I want the list to contain not 6 but 20. Make such a list and modify the file so that there are 20 options for protagonists. Then do the same for all other settings except for templates. Do it one by one. Let's see what's gonna happen now. Okay, so now we have 20 options for stories. An alien diplomat stranded on Earth. It makes changes. This time it should be fast because it's only changing the list. You can see it's small change. It worked. And it will start to continue to work on other things. It run. You're a cursed wizard, haunted detective. In underwater civilization, you're a time-traveling historian, rogue scientist, young prodigy magician. Okay, so we have more options for who is the hero. Next, expand settings. So it's expand settings. It runs the generator. You are a cursed wizard in a magic academy where you must unite varying factions. However, a fleet of rogue space pirates stands in your way, and everyone is connected telepathically. What? Okay. Okay. It's getting somewhere. In an underwater civilization, you're a haunted detective trying to escape collapsing dimension while an evil sorcerer who controls times pursues you. As if things weren't difficult enough, technology is malfunctioning and random. Okay, that's not as fine. So it updates goals. It updates. Okay. In a medieval kingdom at war, you are a talking animal explorer trying to defend the last stronghold. While an evil sorcerer who controls time, the civil sorcerer is everywhere. As if things weren't difficult enough, everyone is connected telepathically. What the hell? Why is this telepathically thing is also so often here? It adds twists. Give me a link to the file. I want to take a look. Also, it seems I'm having some of the things pop up very often, like time traveling wizard or the wizard that controls time. Also, something about everyone being connected telepathically. I saw it multiple times, with 20 options of which it feels weird. Can you check if there are any problems in code? Do not make any changes yet. I'm trying to understand. So, yeah, here's the link to the file. Let's try to read it in browser again. No, everything is all right. We have 20, 20, 20. Okay, what about randoms? I don't know, code looks fine. So it's a happy or unhappy coincidence. Let's see what it says. So it sometimes happens due to random. I'll take a look, a closer look. Actually know what I can do. Yeah, it actually proposes. So I have an idea of what you can at least a little bit do. Like how many? It generated 4 options. When you're generating like a dozen of options, it could track which ones were used in previous options and not use them for follow-up generations. Let's see if it can do it. Yeah, let's in span of one generation of the list of topics, track which were already used and not use them in scope of the same generation, same list of generation. Let's see if it can do it. Now it's making some kind of a bigger edit. Oh. Let's see if it succeeds. So there is a bigger edit. Seems not to be very good at editing today. Continue. So we have a persistent error where it tries to edit and fails. This is on my side. I need to still polish the prompt and improve how it works. Usually, problem is around it replacing code incorrectly. I mean, it does pinpoint edits. It does it in style of merge conflicts or search and replace type of calls. And sometimes it has trouble with code it tries to replace. So things are a little bit not working today. As not to bore you, I will probably split apart the parts that took time for debugging and things don't work, and put it into a separate video and put link in the description. If you're interested to see how things both work and don't work, check out that separate video. Here I will jump to the part where things work. Okay, let's do that. I did mention in my previous video that for this kind of more complex edits, the best tool on the market currently is probably Aider. I haven't seen better ones. Mine is worse. It does give you certain benefits, but in this kind of situations, sometimes worse, you will need to spend a little bit more time. But at least here in ChatGPT, it's free, and by paid account, the quota is pretty large. While in other tools, you may run out quite quickly. Or you will need to pay a lot. Here, at least in ChatGPT, the fee is flat. It's probably the most cost-effective way to use LLMs today at the moment. So now it succeeded, it runs, code runs successfully. Yay! Okay, so what do we get? A spacefaring diplomat finds themselves in a steam-powered industrial city, tasked with finding a lost artifact to save the world. But a fleet of rogue space pirates opposes them. Things take a turn when reality is warping unpredictably. Okay. You're a dimensional hopping thief in underwater civilization, faced with challenge to stop an ancient curse. A vengeful ghost obstructs your efforts, and all magic is fading from the world. What? As a time-traveling historian in a distant space colony, you must discover the source of strange signals, but beware, a powerful necromancer is on your trail, and time itself is collapsing. What the hell? That one is, yeah, that I would want to have. C. You're a telepathic hacker in subterranean world tasked with restoring a dying ecosystem. An ancient deity obstructs your efforts and technology is malfunctioning at random. Yeah, I think by now it's better. Okay, so what I wanted to do next. Okay, we have a running code in a separate file. Can you read the original demo HTML file, see what code was used there for generation, and plan how to replace it with the code we created here? The code we created here is for Node.js. Make it workable in that HTML file. Now we are asking to modify original file we had with this thing. So it read the file again to refresh a bit. And so it will need to convert Node.js script to browser compatible JavaScript. That's not needed. It's simple as is. Use this HTML structure, modify the. Well, let's see. Try not to buttons. Go. Okay, so it will now try to modify the original document file. By now, in folder, we have 3 files. We have an original extracted one, we have a new one, and we have a demo file that we will be modifying. Let's see how it's gonna do this time. It's not very good at selecting how to replace today. On some days it's instant, everything works, perfect, magic, and on some days I need to collect a data set of types of mistakes it makes and try to fix that either from code side or from front side. Now it makes a larger change, so you need to wait. Okay, so it's replacing original with a big change from a new one. It seems that it succeeded. Let's take a look how it looks now. And now we have them here. So, as a rugged scientist in medieval kingdom at war, you must prevent an alien invasion, but beware, a criminal mastermind is on your tail, and everyone is slowly losing their mind. Okay, and everyone is slowly losing their mind. Memory complicates things further. So this part of the template is a bit weird. Sometimes they don't mesh that well, but I think LLM will be fine. So in a futuristic megacity, you are a young prodigy magician trying to escape a collapsing dimension, while a dark wizard pursues you. As if things weren't difficult enough, gravity is unstable. Okay, so interesting stories. I want to hear them. I think for now we're finished with the reading, editing, modifying, testing code. There are issues that I will be fixing next with the tool, and we'll make videos about it in the future. For now, let's put this back into the WebSim. So how do you do that? So here we have a WebSim that exists. What we need to do is we need to add this kind of thing that I showed you before that makes WebSim editable. So now we can click here and see the whole code of the WebSim. We have the code that we modified. We can go back, we can replace it and save. It will show pop-up when it finishes to redirect to a new version. Let's pick an adventure. You're a retired superhero in a desert wasteland, faced with challenge to solve a murder mystery. A vengeful ghost obstructs your efforts, and ancient deities are awakening, changes the rules of the game. Okay, let's shuffle a bit. A wandering knife finds themselves in a floating sky city, tasked to prevent an alien invasion, but a mutated beast opposes them. Things take a turn when reality is warping unpredictably. That's too much. In Haunted Mansion, you are a rogue UI trying to stop ancient curse, while an oppressive government pursues you. As if things weren't difficult enough, gravity is unstable. A retired superhero finds themselves in a magical academy, tasked to build a rebellion from the ground up, but a malfunctioning AI controlling the city opposes them. Things take a turn when ancient deities are awakened. A shape-shifting spy finds themselves in an underwater civilization, tasked with discover the source of strange signals, but a rebel faction leader opposes them, thinking things take a turn when time is self-collapsing. You're a rebel leader in a desert wasteland where you must refuse a dangerous political situation. However, a rival knight seeking revenge stands in your way. And technology is malfunctioning at random. Okay, let's try this. Actually, you're a genetically enchanted soldier in a mystical forest where you must retrieve forbidden knowledge. However, an evil sorcerer who controls time stands in your way, and everyone is connected telepathically. Okay, let's go with this. and see how that goes. Oh, I need to select the voice.
You are a genetically enhanced soldier, navigating through a mystical forest filled with bioluminescent plants and ancient trees that seem to whisper secrets. Your mission is to retrieve forbidden knowledge hidden within the depths of an ancient temple. However, the evil sorcerer who controls time watches your every move, his power twisting the very fabric of reality around you. To make matters worse, everyone in this world is connected telepathically, allowing him to anticipate your actions as if reading your thoughts. What's your next move?
Okay, let's see. Search for clues in the forest to locate a temple. Attempt to disrupt the sorcerer's connection to the forest. Gather allies among the creatures of the forest for assistance. Let's try to gather allies.
As you call out to the hidden creatures of the mystical forest, glowing orbs of light begin to dance around you. A majestic stag, adorned with shimmering antlers, steps forward from the shadows, followed by a flock of ethereal birds that sing enchanting melodies. Together, they form a council of the forest's guardians, ready to lend their strength to your quest. With newfound allies by your side, you feel the energy of the forest pulse through you, empowering your resolve. What's your next move?
Anyways, this is the new version with new generation of the setups for the story. I will share the link below. And this is it for the first part, where I showed how you can use it. There are some issues that I will be fixing and showing how it improves over the next videos. But you can already try it yourself, and in the next part I will show you how to install it yourself. Maybe one thing before we jump into setting it up, let's summarize a little bit what I showed you today. So you can chat about the code base. It can search the internet. It can run code in ways that it sees problems and iterates on them itself. I still need to improve some things that it catches the errors, like one we saw, where it kind of copied code incorrectly. For JavaScript files, it does detect it. This one was HTML file. In it, I do not still support detecting this kind of issues and automatic fixing. It can work with large code bases. It can work with multiple files. It can extract from one file to another, copy, paste code. I need to improve the prompt. It's a little bit, makes silly mistakes sometimes. And cost, I'm just using my ChatGPT Pro license. Okay, so that's how you can use tools like this and some others to overcome WebSim issues. So basically my workflow today is I'm prototyping something. I start with WebSim because it's the fastest way to get some kind of working prototype and test if something works. But then I still take it out, continue with using this kind of tools because it's out of WebSim, it becomes very unproductive. Testing grows. Okay, I showed you the tool. Now, if it looks interesting and you want to give it a try yourself, now I want to share with you how to set it up. Let's take a look at that. So there is a URL, there is a GitHub repo, ChatGPT Server Commander. There is a link in description. And here is setup instructions. That's what we're going to go through today. First, you will need a Node.js version. Currently, the latest stable version is 2016.0. You can get it here. Just download and install. After you did that, I will not show it. I already have it installed. After you did that, you will need to check out the code and open terminal window in that folder. So let's do that. You can copy the link, use your own ways or terminal to check it out, or you can just download the zip. Let's do that. That's like the simplest way. Okay, I downloaded the repo. Here I'm in downloaded folders. I navigated to the folder. Here we now have the project locally, the ChatGPT Server Commander folder. Now you need to open the terminal. And to do that, I'm on Mac. You can go to View. And in View, we will need to select to see the path bar. That's the easiest way to open terminal that I know of on Mac. If you're on Windows, check how to do that. Windows. Now you will need to click down here at this path bar on the folder and open terminal. Okay, now I have terminal open in the folder of ChatGPT Server Commander that we just downloaded. Now I need to do one thing. I have multiple versions of Node. I need to make sure that we have the right one. Now I have old one. Okay, I will need to switch. You will not need to do that because you will only have newly installed version. So I switched to the latest version. That is at the time of recording the video, version 20. Now you will need to run a command. Actually, let's go to here, back to the setup. And you can see that first thing you will need to do is install dependencies. You can just copy this thing and we will do npm install terminal. This will set up all the dependencies for the project. It should not take too much time. Okay, everything installed. Okay, next you can just run it. Let's run the project. Now, first time you run it, it will ask you to set it up and will ask you questions. You can see that first question is, it asks what kind of port you want to run it on. You can just use 3000, which is default. I will use something else because I think 3000 is taken in my case. So let's do like 3333. Okay. Next, it asks you if you want to use local tunnel to expose your server. Considering that we are on a local machine, we will need to do it. If you're on a server, you don't need to do it. Today I'm showing you how to use it on your local machine, so we will use local tunnel. So it's yes. Then it will ask you to provide a name for like domain on which it will be exposed. You can write anything. Let's say that it's local notebook, local notebook and GPT. Let's say that's something, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make it unique. Okay, we chose that, and now it is set up. Everything's working. You see that here is URL on which your server is now accessible. You can go to browser, click here, and see this. Now, that's how local tunnel works. It says like, hey, your computer is exposed to the internet. To make sure that you are the owner of the computer, give me IP address. Now, you can just go into Google and say something, my IP, something like my IP. There are websites that show you your IP. You will need to copy it and go here, paste into the tunnel password as IP, click submit. And now we are there. We can actually go and see that in terminal, we can see that there was a request that was accepted. So we hit it. On the main URL, it doesn't do anything now. That's probably, I will fix it after recording this video. We need to say something here. But we can check that an API JSON there. We can see that it's there. So this is a description of the API of the server that ChatGPT can use. Okay, let's go back. We started the server. The setup is finished. It showed us one thing that we will need to use later, the out key. Don't share out key with anyone. This is a secret key that allows ChatGPT to communicate with your machine, while it doesn't allow anyone else to communicate with your machine. The secret will be given to ChatGPT. If someone else gets this key, they will be able to also control your computer. So don't share it. Next step, step number 7. Let's create custom GPT. For that, we go to this URL, we get into the editor. Let's give it a name, local notebook commander. We will need to add the prompt from the file that is in the repo. You can go to the URL. This is instructions. I'm updating them, improving them so that it doesn't get confused. There is a lot of work to do. So copy them to instructions. Okay, instructions are here. Next step. Add prompt, we did. Add your URL to generated OpenAI spec. Similar to this, but with your domain. You will need to go to here, like I did before, and then add Open API JSON. Now you have URL with your description of the API. You can go here to create actions button below. Click on that. Here you will need to click on this import from URL, give it URL and click import. And you see that it now imported all the API calls that this thing can do. You can read what it can do if you want. I will not go into this here. You can also see that this is the methods that it could import, but it will not work yet. Next step is that you need to add the authentication key that we discussed before. For that, you need to go here to authentication, click on this here. Among these authentication types, choose API key, and here, instead of basic, use bearer. That's what I'm using. Now we go back into the terminal. We select this out token terminal. You can also find it later in the folder generated config.json, and inside of it you will find the key as well if you want to access it later. Okay, let's go back. So you need to select API key, bearer, and paste the key you got generated here. And now we are done. Actions should be working. We can test one of them. Let's get server URL. Test that. So it is calling a method. You need to allow. Let's do always allow, so it doesn't ask all the time for simple commands. It ran the command and it gave the URL. So hey, this thing runs on this domain. Hey, it works. Good. Actions work. Oops, I went too far. Yes. So let's see the instruction. We added authentication key, and that's it. It's working now. Let's give it a test. Actually, let's do it differently. Let's finish the creation by clicking create. Share it with only me. Don't share with anyone else, because it will give access to them to modify your computer. Only you want to be able to do that. What's fun though, you can actually use it from your phone remotely. So your computer is at home, server is running, and you can on the phone ask it to do something your computer remotely. Or you can install it on your server and remotely modify your server. That's what I'm using it for as well. Anyways, share only with me for now. Save. Here's URL. Let's go there. And let's ask it questions. We just installed this server. Let's see. List. Oh, read file list and folder. There should be readme. Read it. Tell me what it is. Let's see what it does. It ran a find command. It found the readme file. It read the readme file and says that, hey, it file provides an overview of ChatGPT Server Commander project. Okay, works. Let's see. Can you check is my IP or remote machines? Okay, it found my IP. Okay, what else can we do? What is operating system? Operating system is macOS Darwin 23, ARM64 architecture. What else can we do? Well, anyways, you can do, actually, let's ask it. What interesting things can we do on this OS with terminal? We can monitor system, list hardware information, check battery health. Interesting. Let's check battery health. I wonder if that's going to work. Yeah, so we can do a lot of fun stuff with this thing. I'm not sure it's going to work. So it can run all commands. Okay, the battery currently is fully charged and Mac is drawing power from AC source. Okay. So anyways, you can do anything the terminal can do, which means reading files, running stuff, installing, removing, monitoring, I don't know, do internet calls. So that's Server Commander, that's how you set it up. And you can then read files, edit files, install files, run tests, do all kinds of automation. You can work the project, modify, do changes, reach out in comments if anything about it is interesting for you. That's mostly it. So if you liked it, do like, hit this bell, subscribe. It helps me to, it gives me a signal that I should be continuing working in this direction. If you have any kind of comments, questions, ask them. That helps me and I will help you as well. And that's it for this time. I will be continuing work in this direction. My goal is actually to switch it to working more like WebSim, where you can do similar things in the browser. So you don't actually need to install it locally like you did now. You will be able just to do web applications using search, using multi-file editing, using more things. That's it. Thank you. See you next time.